during this process?
I think a lot, and I hope a lot. We've been through it. It's nothing new for this group, and so I'm sure they're going to be focused and dialed in right from the get-go.
I was going to ask, what was the level of disappointment after the tournament, and how do you kind of reframe the task from there?
Well, we were disappointed, I think, in obviously how that finished out, but. Like I told the team, I think Notre Dame and Mississippi State, the two finalists last year, they also lost in their respective conference championship games, and it didn't affect how they played. So I tried to just tell the team, this doesn't change who we are and how far we can go and what we're about. I think the level of disappointment, the fact that we 3 games in 3 days, for our team, and we were a little banged up. I think that's been pretty well documented. Was difficult, and we just didn't have it that last game, and give Stanford the credit, but that's not going to be the case now. We have a day in between the games, and you only play 2 each weekend, so I don't think that'll be, any kind of a factor.
What's the biggest
this week off to good use then?
What's that?
Like your group put this week off to good use then?
Yeah, we played Sunday down in Las Vegas, and we didn't meet up again until Sunday of this week, so 2 reasons. Number one, I think we needed the mental and the physical rest. I think that was really important to our group. And secondly, we have finals this week, so hopefully they spent that time preparing for finals, and I'm sure they did. But I think we needed the rest. And I always say, Ruthie and Sabrina don't need to practice one more pick and roll. I mean, they've got that pretty much taken care of. So I think the rest far outweighs what we would have got done in practice.
Not to dwell too much on what happened yesterday, but is it kind of nice the fact that you guys are hosting here in Eugene and have that Portland Regional, so the fans, at least, if they missed out on yesterday, there is something for them to still kind of experience you guys going through the tournament? Yeah,
well, we knew we were going to host. I mean, that was a given. The fact that we're in Portland, I think, is really special. I think any coach would much prefer play close to home at any point in the tournament. However, that's getting way ahead of ourselves. I mean, we're guaranteed 1 game. That's Portland State, and and they're going to be a really good opponent. So, yes, I think our fans are excited that we're here, and good for them. I mean, we earned a 2 seed, but I think they earned the opportunity to host too, because they've been an amazing group and really been behind this team, and we're going to need their support this weekend.
I know there were some questions on our end following that championship game about whether or not this regional would be in Portland for you guys to host, or whether Stanford would move into that spot. Was there ever that worry from your guys' end between championship and selection?
Well, I wasn't worried about it because there was nothing we could do about it. But I think we earned it. I think if you look at our resume with anybody else that they would put in the West, I think it was a no-brainer. And we won the regular season. I think people forget that. To go 16-2 in that, through a 2-month grind, I always put more premium on that. I know that technically you don't get that automatic bid because of that, but to me that means a lot more than a tournament championship. And then let's face it, we had a tough finish. Part of that was due to health, but we got beat by those teams, and I think it's made us hungrier, and now it's a new season.
How close will the staff have to watch that first game Friday, and how much legwork will we be able to do beforehand to get a sense of those 2 teams too?
For
the Texas-Indiana game, how close will you have to watch that?
Oh yeah, no. We have 3 assistant coaches, and they all 3 are taking a different opponent. We're going to be prepared. You have to look ahead. There's you can't just hope that you win that first game and then okay, now what do we do? No, we have an eye forward as we should, but we won't talk about Texas or Indiana until after the Portland State game.
What's the biggest challenge the team faces going into the tournament?
Well, I think we just got to get our mojo back a little bit. We're still the best shooting team in the country by pretty much most measures, and the best offensive team in the country by pretty much every metric that is evaluated out there. So, we've struggled down the stretch a little bit to shoot. What were we, 6 of 26 in the Stanford game? I mean, that's just so uncharacteristic of us. But so I think that is part of it. But I think we've been defending well, and and now I think with a week off, I think our kids are going to be healthier. So no, we're in a good spot right now. Now we just got to go out and prove it.
Nobody wants to sign up for a track meet with you, but after the Stanford game, Tara even admitted the game plan was to sprint on Ruthie. How much do you have to worry about that in this tournament, where clearly that's going to be a game plan for folks? Now it's easier said than done, but that nevertheless they're trying to physically wear her down, is going to be part of everybody's game plan.
And that's fine. You know, they're capable of doing that because they have, you know, multiple posts and they have the size to do it. It was also the third game in 3 days. Her second game, I know that was still the game plan for UCLA, and she had 28-12. So, you know, it's kind of funny. People say, I remember a coach last year said that, well, Ruthie, you know, they said, well, how are you going to stop Ruthie? She shoots 70%. Well, she shoots nothing but layups. Yeah, that's right. She shoots nothing but layups. And that's the key. So, you know, this team can attack and play in many different ways. We can play an up-tempo game. If you double on Ruthie, she's an unselfish player. That leaves one of the best three-point shooters in the country open somewhere on the perimeter. So, yeah, we'll just try to exploit game to game.
Do you have a better idea of how Taylor's doing?
Yeah, Taylor's better. She's better. She's still not 100%, hasn't practiced yet, so still up in the air where she's going to be. I'm confident at some point she's going to be back this season.
Might kick the sickness too?
I sure hope so. Like I said, I've only seen him a couple days, and I think she's better, and then no question about that. Yeah, she'll be back 100%. I don't think health's going to be an issue.
Taylor was saying that the MRI would have to show that the fracture had calloused, that it had healed up enough. Has there been an MRI at this point?
I don't know where they're at in that whole process. I know they had an X-ray again yesterday or the day before, but hey, you know what? I don't worry about that until the doctor and our trainer say, hey, she's good to go. She can do this much in practice. You know, I don't want to put any pressure or make them feel like, you know, if I always ask, well, how you doing today? Then they kind of feel like, well, I got to get back. Coach really needs me. Well, we do need her, but I don't want to put that added pressure. So I leave it up to the doctors, 100%.
You mentioned wanting to get your mojo back. What's the process of that? Is it just the mental break and be able to flush that grind a little bit? Is it something that has to happen a little bit in practice?
Yeah, I think so. And just to sit down and kind of reevaluate where we're at, you know, what we're capable of doing. You know, I know the kids look at the big picture, and we know what we're chasing after. And listen, we don't hide from that. But at the same time, I think we're just worried about the game on Friday night. And, you know, you try to pump the kids up in practice, and so they see a little bit of success there. And I mean, we're still a good team. Listen, we're 29-4, so it's not like I know a lot of people think this is the end of the world or whatever. We lost that game, but the reality is we're 29-4, and we're one of those teams that's at least in the discussion to get to Tampa and perhaps win it all. We're not going to shy away from that.
Is it better or worse that you guys have seen Mississippi State already once this year?
I don't think it matters because I don't know if we're going to play them. We'll see. You know, they've got a lot of work to do, and so do we.
What's the early scouting report on Friday if the focus is full on the Vikings?
Yeah, well, I know Portland State is, you know, they're big, and they have some experience. You know, I know Bolston has been, you know, she was in the Pac-12, and their shooter Riley's, you know, a heck of a player. I may have got that name wrong, you guys. I got so many names in my head right now, and then they have size up front. So, you know, and let's face it, 25 wins for a 15 seed. That's pretty good. I think Coach Kennedy's done an awesome job there. He's really built that. He's built it the right way. They've had their growing pains, and now they're seeing the fruits of all that labor. So, you know, and they know they like to zone, and they're real effective with it. Idaho was one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, and I know they really struggled in that semifinal game. So this is a good group, you know, and they're going to be hungry. You know, they know that Oregon gets a lot of the attention, but they're going to have some fan support here, I'm sure. They don't have to travel too far, and they'll be ready to go. They're coming in with nothing to lose. That's always, I think, a good team with nothing to lose is a dangerous team.
Can you just talk a little bit about everyone's initial reaction yesterday when they didn't get the watch party, especially your seniors, because it was...
I didn't see them. I was at home, and most of them were in the locker room after practice. We'd just gotten done with practice. Like I said, I had to go home and feed the dogs. So when all of it came down, and you know, again, this is a veteran group. We've had our watch parties before. We knew, you know, where we were going to be seated more than likely, and you know, I think that where we were seated and the potential regional, I think, was pretty exciting for them. But you know, it's just I'm mainly disappointed we didn't get to celebrate with our fans because they're a big part of this, and it would have been nice to have everybody together.
Phil, you mentioned fan support. Like when football was going into the postseason, a lot of guys announced what their plans were for the future before the bowl game. A couple of guys waited until after.
Yeah.
Seeing that you're hosting, there's going to be a lot of fans who are interested to know what Sabrina's plans are, potentially because this could be her last weekend. Do
Yeah.
you have any indication at this point as to if she plans to make any announcements this week?
Nope, and I don't think she does either. So,
You know, if she's registered for the spring quarter.
yeah, and I think all that will be announced at some point. You know, what she's going to do. But right now, honestly, I don't know if any of them have. I guess they probably all have it. I mean, I don't even know where we are in the process. I guess this is finals. They have next week off, so yeah, then it starts. So
That's why I asked.
yeah,
Because the draft
I'm sure
is like
she's
a week later, not
yeah,
3 months
which
later.
is
That's
kind of
why I-
crazy that that they have to make that decision so quickly.
Which is why I-
But no, listen. I don't think that's on her mind right now. She wants this team to go as far as we possibly can. I know that's front and center on her mind.
Did you change any of the way that you practice to avoid burnout? You don't have as deep of a bench for this postseason as you did last year.
We've always taken this week off. Yeah, at this point, you guys, it's mainly shooting, it's stretching, it's working some kinks out, breaking a sweat. That's about it. I think everybody's kind of in the same mode. And if you look at who's playing right now on every team, everybody's down to about 7, or 8 at maximum. So we're no different than anybody else really right now.
Even with Taylor out, was Morgan kind of a nice bit of a revelation throughout this Pac-12 tournament and give some faith off the bench at that guard spot going
No
into
question.
the NCAAs?
Yeah, Morgan played great in Vegas. We have a lot of confidence in her, and she, I guess, certified that we should have confidence in her. She's good at both ends of the floor too. I think her defense gets undervalued a little bit by a lot of people. She can defend, and so yeah, I think we're fine.